things are just out of control in Europe and UK as the streets are now filled with these weird Islamic aggression all across the UK, Europe, and also in America. Because this is what's happened to London right now. Just take a look at how people are just absolutely destroying anything. And I mean, this is one of the most expensive cars. And it's really devastating right now to see that they're literally just destroying anything they would get on their way if you're not a Muslim. So there's this massive Islamic aggression that has just begun all over Europe and UK. And they've been destroying everything on the streets, from buildings to public properties. And they've been protesting with the quote saying, "Free Palestine." And look at this. This right here is Amsterdam. What used to be one of the most beautiful cities in the world is now filled with protesters basically just forcing people in order to follow the Shahiri laws. And they're completely against all the Christians and all other religions. And it seems like it's finally time that they're making their massive move. And they're basically taking over all of Europe as well as UK. They are right now on the streets doing whatever they could. And unfortunately, it's because they feel, like all of these immigrants, they feel that they now own Europe and UK because their population has exceeded all the populations of the Christians. I came across this another crazy video.
Can you drive away, please?
Damn.
I need to call the police. I
Yeah.
can't.
I mean, it's an Uber. It's
Dude's just breaking the
drive away?
Uber, man.
I need to call the police. I
Yeah.
can't.
So this is happening right now in London, as this guy who's supposedly a Christian, he's been using the Uber in London streets, and then one of the Islamic protesters comes by and he decides to break the door. And I honestly don't know why the Uber driver, she's not just driving away.
Can you
The
drive
woman's
away?
reflexes are really slow. Look at that stuff. He literally just destroys it.
Police. I
yeah.
can't.
I mean, it's a
And then she says she needs to call the police after he basically destroys it. And a lot of people in the comments have also been talking about how the woman absolutely did nothing at all. I don't know why the Uber driver is not speeding off. Exactly, right? Now, obviously, a lot of people might be saying that it's not just all Islams, it's just few of them that destroying the reputation of the religion. But honestly, at the end of the day, if you look at things as to what their scriptures actually teaches them, it might not be every single Muslims that's kind of doing all of these things. It might be a very small majority of them that are causing these havoc all around the world. But what's actually scary about this whole situation is that the religion that they call as a religion of peace, when Muslims claim that Islam is a religion of peace, but then every single Muslim that's loyal to his scripture is obviously going to be following what the scripture teaches. And this right here is just a very small example of what the scripture teaches. As in Quran, it basically says, slay the unbelievers wherever you find them. Muslims are not to take infidels as friends. That's what it says in Quran. It also says any religion other than Islam is not acceptable. Muhammad crucified the infidels if they criticize Islam. Wow. So you can't even criticize them. That's what their book teaches, that you can't criticize them. And if they do, then you should basically just kill them, is what the book basically teaches. So it also says terrorize and oh my lord. You need to behead them, and those who believe in the scriptures other than the Quran. These are like the scriptures that the book teaches. Muslims must muster all the weapons to terrorize the infidels. Unbelievers are stupid, and they need to urge to fight them. When the opportunity arises, kill them. Oh my God. Wheresoever you find them. So they say that the Jews and Christians, what they call as perverts, and they need to fight us. So this is the kind of things that the Islamic books are actually teaching them. Now, a lot of Muslims might say that we are not part of this whole thing, that it's not just every Muslims that are doing this stuff, but at the end of the day, it's every single Muslim that's actually following the book, that's actually following the scriptures that Quran is teaching them. And if Quran is actually teaching these things to every person that follows it, then this eventually means that it's not just about them not doing these things. If they're following a book that's actually teaching them to do these things, and if this is something that they worship every single day and they just follow this every day because they go to mosques and they pray and they read their Qurans, and if you are a Muslim and if you're watching this and if you're saying, well, you know what, we are not like the guys that are currently destroying and protesting all over Europe and UK, we don't do any of those things. We just pray and carry on with our own lives. But at the end of the day, I honestly think, I genuinely think that if you are a true Muslim, then then obviously this means that you're going to be respecting what your Quran teaches you. So these scriptures are sacred. So if these scriptures are actually teaching you something that you consider sacred, and these are what the Quran is teaching in order to basically just destroy anyone that doesn't follow your beliefs, and if you're still following the same book, then this eventually means that you are still part of the problem at the end of the day. Because if this is what they've been doing in Germany, just take a look at the streets of Germany. Like, the place that once looked absolutely amazing is now looking like an absolute garbage. And this is what they've been doing. And it's not just about some people, you know, being part of it and not the majority of people. We can't really blame everyone and whatsoever. I think at the end of the day, their books are teaching them in order to do these things. And it just seems like it's just a matter of time that, you know, before they kind of just take over the world, because it just seems like they've been waiting for their numbers to increase so that they can have the highest amount of population in any sort of region. So it doesn't matter if it's UK, US, or Europe, or any part of the world. It seems like these guys are just waiting for their numbers to multiply so that they can take over the majority of population. And once they do that, they are going to start oppressing every single person that doesn't follow what their book teaches. And that's exactly what they're doing right now. Just take a look at this clip right here.
Ever see Sharia law instituted in this country? Takbir!
So they've been basically laughing at all the people that basically thought that they're not going to take over their countries. But right now it seems like the West has completely fallen, man. They've absolutely fallen. And if this goes on for a very long time, I think Christian countries and the entire religion is going to be completely destroyed. And nobody's going to be there in order to take stand and do something about everything that's going on in the world. And if that's not enough, this is what's happening in the streets of London. Just take a look at this stuff, man. This is really, really hilarious. At the same time, it seems like the West has completely fallen. This is exactly what's going on in Britain, man. Literally, this is exactly what's going on. And it seems like the entire West has fallen at this point, because a lot of people are more focused in running these gay campaigns and LGBTQs, Pride Month, and all this shit, you know. It seems like they've been reducing in terms of their population, whereas the rest of the world is actually multiplying and they're basically taking over. And I think it's absolutely in their favor that, you know, a lot of people are these days turning into LGBTQ stuff. So as far as these things just keep rising, it seems like they're gonna be taking over the world as well. And there is absolutely nothing they can do about it. Just think about it. How many people is the government even going to be able to deport from their nation? Because the majority of the nation is filled with these people, where their own Christian majorities now completely disappear. And that's because of their own fault, that they did not follow the laws of God. And they just completely went into their own ways. They started destroying modesty, and then the culture is gone, and they completely just destroyed everything, bringing in the LGBTQ stuff. You know, it's just so freaking messed up that the entire West is now completely fallen. And now this is what is going on in Europe. Look at this stuff. These are like the streets of Europe, where people are protesting and declaring that, you know, Poland is a Christian country after the takeover of Islam. I mean, is this even necessary in the first place? I really think that, you know, the government should have taken actions right away in terms of allowing immigrants, because it seems like, you know, they really don't care about the country that they're living in, whereas they're supporting the country that they don't want to be in. They just left their country, came to this place because they like this place, and they are now destroying the flag of the country that they live in and supporting the flag of the country that they just abandoned and just walked right in. And a lot of people might say, well, you know what, just deport them, send them back to their country or whatsoever. Is that the reason why these people have migrated to all these different countries is most probably, it's not because of the lifestyle or them not really liking their own countries. It's probably because they want to multiply in numbers and conquer as much as possible. So they want to go to different lands and make sure they multiply way more than what the numbers of the population is with the region that they just migrated in. And once once they gain more population, they would absolutely take over the entire lands as if it belongs to them rightfully, because they are way too many people in majority compared to what we Christians are. And very soon, I think if this thing just keeps
Why are
continuing,
you out here by yourself?
this is what's going to happen in
I have no
2050
choice.
to
Not
Europe.
permitted to be
Just
out
look at
here
this stuff.
without your husband or your
I'm
brother.
sorry, I know.
Do you understand?
I am bringing a letter protesting my husband's arrest.
Just go home.
No!
What do you mean no?
This is Nurullah Al-Islam, my husband. He was arrested last night, but no charges.
Photographs are
I
forbidden.
have no one of those.
What are you doing showing me a
I
photograph?
mean-
Out here by yourself?
There's no one in my house.
You're insult to your husband, you're insult
This is
to
what
your
they-
race.
Is this what the Shahiri law says? Damn. I really don't know, man. If this ends up happening in 2050, I mean, if they don't stand against it, I know a lot of people say that, you know, Christians are supposed to be peaceful even if the enemies are, you know, kind of taking over. We're not supposed to hit back or whatsoever. But I genuinely think if we don't take a stand right now in this moment, if we don't do it right now, they're just going to take over the world. London, being one of the best looking places, currently looks like this. Damn. That's Paris before and Paris now. Washington before and Washington now. Oh my lord, dude. This is absolute destruction, to be honest. This is so sad to see that the world is like literally being burned down at this point. Damn, dude, damn. The West is next. Honestly, yeah, that's actually very true. West is next. It seems like they've already taken over. Because if you do this in their country, if you go to any Islam country and you start doing shit like this, they would literally just kill you on the spot. You're not even gonna come back alive from that place. And that's how strict their laws are and how strict the government is. But this is what the government of Australia and the West have been doing so far. This is a public park, like in the streets, in the public park. I really don't know what the hell is even. I really don't see any sort of, you know, necessity to, in order to just go down here in like the public park and do shit like that. They're just trying to send a message that, you know, we have taken over the world. They're basically trying to send a message. It's not about them worshiping, because obviously if they want to worship, they would go to a mosque, do it in a very peaceful way. It seems like they're sending a message to the world that this land belongs to us now and it doesn't belong to you. And you can't really do shit about it. And that's what's happening right now. It seems like the government can't really do shit about it. The West is fallen. Nobody's going to be able to do anything anymore, man. Look at this stuff. London Bridge is falling down. I mean, this is what's going on in the London's streets. You can't do this in their country, man. Definitely, you really can't go out there and do stuff like this in their country and just walk back alive. It's never going to happen. I really don't know what the hell the government is actually doing. It's really sad, because how could your government just let stuff like this really go on? Like, look at this stuff. Look at this stuff. UK, London, UK. Look at this stuff. How could you simply just let this stuff go on and not do anything about it, man? I think they're throwing dustbins at the cops, at the police. They're burning stuff on the streets. They're destroying cars. They're destroying your homes. They are doing whatever they could, because they just love doing whatever they freaking can. They've turned the streets of Birmingham. Look at this stuff. This is Birmingham right now. They're just barbecuing in the streets, man. Oh, damn. Damn. The West is completely fallen. And they've also been vandalizing churches. Look at that stuff. Nobody can do anything about it. Like, they can just do whatever they want, and no one would ever do anything. If you ever did this in their country, if it ever did this to their mosque, do you think you're gonna come back alive? Honestly, there's just way too much. And they've also taken over schools at this point, where they're forcing children in order to follow their religion. All the Christian children are supposed to do it in schools right here. Take a look at this stuff. That's messed up. That's messed up. I mean, if this whole aggression doesn't get stopped very soon, I think this is going to be the future in all the countries, every single part of the world. This right here is what's going to happen to all four children, all the kids. Every single next generation is going to get forced in, and we can't really do anything about it because they are going to have the majority, and half of our people are going to be very busy carrying the rainbow flag around and celebrating Pride Month, because that's really what's going on in this world right now. There's also been plenty of memes, honestly, and it's very funny. Take a look at this one. Me arriving in France thinking I was fluent in French. This is what you get in France. And this right here is from Japan, man. This is from Japan. Take a look at this. Wow, they've even started this stuff in Japan. That's crazy. And one thing I really appreciate about Indian government is that these guys, they welcome all the different religions. They don't really discriminate when it comes to religious people. You can follow whatever religion you want. At the same time, they say that we're going to be Hindus. We're going to follow what we like. You can follow what you like. You can stay in our country. But then at the end of the day, when it comes to respecting religious causes, if you respect our religion, we're going to respect yours. But if you start any sort of extremist activity in India, they're going to kick the hell out of your ass. Us. Look at that stuff. They kick the shit out of them. They arrest them. They beat the shit out of them if they do something like that, you know? These things are not really encouraged in India. And I think this is what needs to happen all around the world, because it's just going absolutely nuts. And a lot of people in the comments are really appreciating India when it comes to this stuff. As Jenny says, I fell in love with India. Throw them out. I can't believe I'm saying this, but India finally got one thing right. First video I've seen about India that's good. Go India. A lot of people are supporting. God bless India. Respect for police. You know, I respect India sometimes a lot more than US and UK, you know, for what they're doing. And go pray inside your mosque. Why always disturb everyone? Exactly, man. Honestly, look at this stuff. There are huge traffic jams, as though India doesn't have enough traffic jams already. They've been causing so much public nuisance all around, and I think these are the things that are being tolerated in the UK, US, and, you know, European countries. And it seems like now they've just completely taken over, and nobody can do shit about it. You guys can't even do anything. And what's horrible is that this dude, one of the asylum seekers, got inside a church and he just stole the crown, and he even stole the Black Madonna crown in front of all the people that are praying and worshiping God, and he wore it on himself. And this dude is from Afghanistan. And this guy, and look at the shit he does right there. Nobody, none of them are doing anything about it. He's even wearing the crown, disrespecting the culture that they're following in their own country. And nobody can do anything about it. This is so freaking messed up. And if this happened in India, and at the same time, he'll probably just get killed by the Hindus if they ever did something like that inside a temple. So I think it's finally time that, you know, people need to stand up. And this is why a lot of people are actually supporting Israel on what they're currently doing. Because this is the kind of things that these people are causing all around the world. And they're even vandalizing the police trucks, man. Like, honestly. They're burning police trucks. Look at this shit. While they're screaming Allahu Akbar. This is not Middle East, this is Sweden. Sweden is known to be one of the best Christian countries, and that's Sweden right there for you all. And this right here is Berlin. Take a look at this. That's Berlin. There are people screaming Allahu Akbar. This is just way too much. Way too much. And I think I've seen one of the videos of what happened to these extremist Islams that actually tried to do the same thing in India. And the government of India supposedly took a very, very strict action against every single families of these Muslim extremists that actually came down to the streets and did all of these vandalizing stuff. So the Indian authorities decides to go break down the houses of these people that vandalized. They break down shops, they break down mosques, and the entire location of where these people live. They just completely broke it down as a payback to what they're doing. You know, they just don't tolerate, man. They absolutely don't tolerate this shit. If you're gonna vandalize our people and just break the peace in our country, we're not gonna let you do that. We're gonna destroy everything that belongs to you so that you remember that this thing, it cannot work in India. You know, you can do that in the West, you can do that anywhere you want, but not in India. That's the kind of message these people are sending in. That's actually pretty good that they are doing it. And this kind of just left a message to the world. They can't really try this stuff anymore in India. But then these people also think that the West is very weak in order to fight back or push them back or stop them so they can do whatever the hell they really want to do. So, and honestly, I would love to hear from you guys. What do you think about everything that's going on? I really want to hear your opinions down below in the comments. Now, if you guys think that this whole thing needs to stop and the government needs to get involved and take action against it as exactly the same way as what India has been doing so far, drop a like on this video, share the punishment that India has given to these people, go take a look at what India is doing in order to not tolerate these things, and make sure that it gets shared enough so that all the government of Europe, UK, and America gets to see it and implement very similar actions against these people that kind of destroy the peace and destroy their nation. Honestly, I would love to hear your thoughts down below in the comments. And with that being said, I hope you guys did enjoy today's podcast. If you guys did, smack a big fat like on this video. It really goes a long way. And I will see you guys on the next one. Till then, take it easy, fams, and goodbye.